Hey everybody, it's Miss Phoebus, and I'm back with Lesson 15, Ancient American Mathematics. So we are moving to the New World, and there are quite a few civilizations that are there that we're going to talk about, but we're going to first talk about the Olmec civilization. So the Olmec civilization, they were the first major civilization in Guatemala and Mexico. They're along the Gulf Coast, and the population of the Olmecs flourished during Mesoamerica's formative period, so at the beginning, around 1500 BC to 400 BC. Because it exhibited early achievements in art, politics, religion, and economics that appear to be ancestral to developments in Mesoamerica later, it has earned the reputation of being kind of a mother culture. So they started a lot of things that later civilizations continue on. And we're going to talk about a few of those. So the Olmecs were the very first people to have a writing system in the Americas. Recent evidence of writing suggests that possibly far back as 900 BCE, they developed their writing system. And it is very much similar to the Egyptians. They have pictographs, so they have hieroglyphic symbols. One symbol represents a word, so they're not spelling things out with letters, they are using symbols. And as you can see, the Olmecs are at the top of that photo. Some of the other Mesoamerican tribes, their writing is below it, so you can kind of see the connection between the Olmecs and the other civilizations that come along later. The Olmecs created a bar and dot system with the bar representing 5 and the dot representing 1. It was a base 20 counting system, so we count in base 10, they counted in base 20. And the thought might be that it was because you have 20 digits, you have 10 fingers, 10 toes, so you have 20 in all. They also developed a long count calendar that required the use of 0. So this is the early recorded use of 0 in about 32 BC. The Olmecs were very interested in astronomy. They were able to predict eclipses accurately and made them be considered very advanced for the time period that they were in. They developed a 365-day solar calendar and a 260-day religious calendar. And this is actually their calendar. It looks like a guy sticking his tongue out in a puzzle piece, but this is a calendar. And their calendars, they have a long calendar, which is kind of up and down, but a lot of other calendars are built circularly, and so this is one of their calendars. The long count calendar is used by many other Mesoamerican civilizations after the Olmecs, as well as the concept of 0. So those are traditions that are passed down to other cultures. Because the 6 artifacts with the earliest long count calendar dates were discovered outside the Mayan homeland. It was first thought that the Mayans developed this, but then they figured out that it was somebody who predated the Mayans, and so that's why they think that it's the Olmecs. And then the Mayans, we don't know if the Mayans conquered them or if they just, maybe the Mayans found the Olmec stuff and took it back to their house. We don't know the story behind that, but the Olmecs somehow got a hold of the artifacts, the ancient artifacts that the Olmecs left behind. This is a picture of Olmec drain lines, basically. So they are creating aqueducts. So you see like the U-shaped things. These are the drain systems. So we are really spoiled in our day and age to have running water inside our homes. Back in the day, they didn't have that. They had to go out and search for water. So the Olmecs were actually pretty well advanced in their technologies, and you have to know math in order to advance in your technology, right? So they built these aqueducts to provide drinking water to different areas of the village. So they're getting closer and closer to like indoor plumbing by doing that. Some of the aqueducts were built up almost like monuments. So you see this one on a hill back here, and so that's part of the aqueduct system that got kind of transformed into a monument. The most recognized aspect of the Olmec civilization are giant, enormous sculpted helmeted heads. The Olmecs used basalt to make these colossal heads, and the size of the heads ranged from 5 feet to 11 feet tall. The heads are used to be thought of as ball players, but now they think that these are rulers that are depicted to be ball players. So no two heads are alike. They're all dressed differently and have different facial structures. Some of them have been disfigured, so like their nose has been knocked off or things like that. We're not sure who did that, but it was a little bit of destruction there. So here we have, for size value, I wanted to show you, this is a very big stone head compared to the size of this man. So these are kind of all over the area where the Olmecs lived. I have a video that you can watch later on to show you how many and where they were found, but they're like all around the area, and they are considered to be their leaders, but they're dressed up like ball players. So that's one of the things that the Olmecs are really, really known for. And so here are some different ones. So you can see that they have, the one on the left is the one with the guy in the picture, but they are all wearing something on their heads, but you can also tell that their faces are different. So they have different facial features and different things like that. The Olmecs are also known for their use of metal, and they're really good at carving things. And so with their artwork, they are using mathematics as well as forming these. One of them is a metal mask. The one on the top right-hand corner, this is a metal mask, and so you have to know about the thing that you're working with in order to make artwork. And then you also have to be able to use symmetry and things like that to make it look beautiful. Now, you might not consider this to be beautiful, but the Olmecs consider this to be beautiful. This is their artwork. They also are known for playing a game, a ball game. Now, this ball game, I don't know what it's called. All we know is that it's ball game. These down here, these are the courts, and so you would play in between, and then you would bounce the ball off the courts. And so they would play with this really, really heavy rubber ball, and actually, it was one of those games where you could probably get hurt, and hurt so badly that you could die. So that was probably a very dangerous game to play. There were teams, but in this one you only see 2 people playing. But that is something that will get passed on. In class, when we talked about it, we called it death ball. So you could go and play death ball and hopefully win the game and not die by getting hit in the head with the ball. One of the other things is you could not touch the ball. You could only touch the ball with your hips and your knees, and there was something else. Hips, knees, and elbows, I think, and that was it. So it was kind of like, it was like a violent soccer ball, but you couldn't like hit it with anything else. And that was probably, you would want it to stay away from your head, I would think. The Olmecs were the first civilization to build pyramids. They built them to resemble volcanoes. And the Great Pyramid, which is different than the Great Pyramid of Egypt, the Great Pyramid in Mesoamerica is still around and still looks pretty good even after 2,500 years of erosion. And you can still climb it, and I'm not sure what's inside, but you can still go and visit it, and you can see people here climbing and going inside. Now, up on top, there is a way to get up there, and it was thought at one point in time that they would do ritual sacrifices up there, but I think that was more reserved for some later tribes in the region. They were pretty bloody, but maybe the Olmecs not so much. Scholars have yet to determine what the cause was of the extinction of the Olmec culture. Between 400 and 350 BC, the population just kind of dropped really quickly, and the area was definitely uninhabited until about the 19th century. So we don't know what happened to them. We don't know if they got sick and died off, where they could have joined other civilizations in the region that could have been conquered. But usually there's evidence of something like a sickness or a battle or something like that. We don't know what happened to them. They could have just picked up and left. But they disappeared in that the evidence of them disappeared. So they stopped making art, they stopped making heads, they stopped, doing their mathematics. We don't know what happened to them. One of the conversations in class was there could have been aliens involved, and there are some theories about that. But again, these are all speculative. We don't know what happened to these people. But there's some giant heads peeking out at you from the jungle, and those are the Olmecs. Alright, so I have some other videos that I'd like you to watch to go into a little bit more depth and show you pictures and stuff, video even, of just more of their culture. So I really would like you to watch that, and then you do have an assignment to do for this lesson. So have fun learning about the Olmecs. Bye!